Every so often, Guild Wars 2 sets up a bonus event with a long list of rewards to encourage exploration of those previous expansions, or perhaps more cynically to make more new players purchase those expansions. Let's dive into the Return to End of Dragons event and figure out which rewards to prioritize, how to get them the fastest, and whether the event is even worth doing in the first place. At first glance, the rewards are pretty good. There are 5 categories of achievements. The Adventure achievements, which each reward you 3 pieces of Dragon Jade worth approximately 4 gold and 50 silver. The Local Response achievements, which each give you 3 Heroes Choice chests. These are worth about 10 gold if you take the writs, consume them for Imperial favors, and then use those to buy Exotics Berserker's gear or craft legendary precursors. The more convenient gold from Ancient Ambergris puts the worth down to 5 gold 50 silver-ish, but the convenience up to high. Reliving End of Dragons makes you go through 3 story chapters for 10 swigs of liquid karma, worth 45,000 karma. Then Revenge of X makes you do the meta events for an antique summoning stone worth just under 2 gold. Finally, completing a total of 10 of these events gives you 5 mystic coins and a spindrift weapon of your choice, worth about 10 gold for the coins and probably another gold from using the Black Lion salvage kit on a spindrift weapon. In addition to these 5 categories, we also have 3 quests each day, urging the completion of 3 events in one of the 5 End of Dragon zones, rewarding that 2 gold mystic coin for each. I would do meta event related quests on those days that the daily quest for them is open. The meta events themselves should let you complete more than just 3 individual events, and most End of Dragon meta events are top earners on the gold side, worth doing just for themselves. New Kaineng as the least valuable one, being worth 61 gold an hour according to fast farming. Doing the 3 meta events each day will take you 2 to 3 hours depending on the events, and ensure completion of both the Revenge of category and Local Response category for a total of 10 event achievements, and thereby the meta event complete. It's a lot of time to put into the event overall, but if you're willing to lose out on some daily achievement, you can do it with less. I will assume you want to keep your daily game time as close to an hour as possible each day, and if you're watching and want to, you can just grind all of these steps in a row. I will assume you want to keep your daily game time as close to an hour as possible each day, which means it will take you 4 days in total to complete the entire meta achievement. On day 1, you want to do the daily Dragon's End if available. This is the most time-intensive meta for you and can take up to 1 hour 20 minutes, so getting it out of the way early puts that stress aside. The battle for Jade Sea starts every 2 hours on the dot. For me, it's in uneven hours at GMT +1, but you can check the Guild Wars 2 wiki for timers on it. Link to that in the description. There's a stacking buff up to 10 for each event you complete until the final assault that will give you extra loot, so getting the 10 completed event for the weekly should only take 1 assault. There will likely be a commander you can squad up with for the events, so follow their instructions, especially at the boss at the end. Even after a lot of nerfs since it released, it's still one of the most difficult open world bosses in the game. If you start this guide on a day that didn't get you the Dragon's End daily, you can switch day 1 and 2 around. As day 2, we will go for the Kaineng Blackout. Notice that this event also naturally spawns right after the end of the Dragon's End event if you're speeding through this in a row, as it starts the other hour on the dot than the Dragon's End does. Again, check the Guild Wars 2 timers for your local one. If you start out on a fresh Blackout map and you're proactive at seeking out the events that happen all over the map, you'll also get 10 events done easily on this one, making you 4 out of 10 for the total meta progression. Then, if you can find an open map, join the gang war in Echowald's Wilds. This event should happen half an hour after the Blackout begins, at 30 minutes past. It will already have started when you join in, but it's the first of our events that are a little more difficult to get all 10 events done in a single run-off, so getting a couple of events now and the meta boss complete will be great. If you go to Echowald Wilds and then try to join a commander, you will be prompted to join the queue for the map if the map is full for now. On day 3, we are also doing 2 events. We are either starting Seitung Province or in Echowald Wilds, depending on what the event timer says is up next. Each of these takes half an hour, but are also spaced apart, so this might not work for you. If it doesn't, simply space them out over more days. The Aetherblade Assault on Seitung Province is about defending some villages, killing some captains, destroying some cannons, and then killing the boss. It's also not quite getting you 10 events done in one go, but after it's done, we'll do Gang War again. With the events you got yesterday, you should be able to finish up the 10 events needed here. here. This will put you at 7 out of 10 weekly progression, only lacking the Seitung event count and the Gyala Delve events and meta. So on day 4 we're checking to see if there's a commander running a Gyala Delve map. The Delve isn't on a global timer but map based, so we want to press Y on our keyboard, go to looking for group, then End of Dragons, then Gyala Delve, and then see if any squads are up advertising meta. There should be more than usual since this event is up. If there are, let's join one immediately and get there to get Gyala Delve underway. Complete 10 events during this meta and you will be 9 out of 10 for weekly completion. Now you just have to wait for the next Seitung province meta to spawn and complete it to finish off your weekly. Now I just started remaking this guide as the game didn't count 2 of the boss defeats on the meta achievement for some reason, but they fixed it now. Still, I'm gonna quickly show you the fastest way to get 2 extra achievements. The first one has no reward, but it simply requires you to speak to this guy in Arborstone. The second one is Skiff racing. I suggest doing the adventure here in Seitung province as it is a really easy course. If there's an actual race on, it will count towards your completed events and it will take 3 laps, which finishes up the achievement and thus 4.5 gold. Just follow through the rings and it will take you about 7 minutes to do. With that, you should have all the achievements needed to complete the full meta achievement. Thus, with only 4 hours of playtime divided among 4 days, you will have completed this event and made a bunch of gold. In fact, according to the fast farming average, you'll have made 129 gold on the meta events themselves, with an addition of 50-ish gold from the 15 Heroes Choice Chests, 5 Antique Summoning Stones, and 5 Mystic Coins. 179 gold in 4-ish hours makes it 44 gold an hour, which is pretty decent. I'll explain some of the most profitable conversions as well, so you know how to make all the currencies you've just gotten into gold. But first, I'd like to quickly ask for your support. I just recently started a Patreon. Making guides like this one is time-consuming and thirsty work, so if you're willing to give me a cup of coffee each month, I'd love to have your voice matter on what my next guide should be about. Currently, I'm working on a guide on Fractals of the Mists that'll be out later this week. Checking that out will mean a lot to me. Link for that in top of the description below. For now, let's go back and exchange some in-game currencies. Starting with all of the easiest stuff. The trading post should take all of your Antique Summoning Stones, chunks of Ancient Ambergris, and white salvageable stuff. In addition, I have never once myself used the Mystic Coins for anything but sale. I like to get the Mystic Clovers from the Wizard's World each season, as well as from some Unbound Magic conversions, so I don't feel the need to hoard these. If you are making a lot of legendaries, you should keep them, but otherwise they're just fine to sell. Optimally, you identify your blue and green unidentified gear and salvage it with the copper-fed salvage-o-matic. I find it too much of a hassle, so I sell these directly to the trading post as well. However, the rare unidentified gear will on average pay itself off more than a little in globs of ectoplasm if you specifically use the silver-fed salvage-o-matic to salvage it after identifying. I do this since globs of ectoplasm are useful for legendary crafting, and when I fill up my bank, I sell the excess. Any exotic gear should be salvaged with Black Lion salvage kits, which you can purchase each season from the Wizard's Vault. Stockpile any materials in your bank, and once that fills out, sell any leftovers on the trading post. Each of the 4 core End of Dragons maps has a map currency called Rid of that map. Rid of Seitung province, for example. The easy way to get money out of these is the slightly less optimal way. Each day at Gar Letclaw in Arborstone, or when you purchase the portable Wizard's Tower exchange, you will have access to a selection of goods you can purchase for each type of rids. Purchase light and medium crafting bags whenever possible. These are the tier 3 and tier 4 resources and give you about 80 silver on average per bag in value. If you're a bit more patient and crafty, you can instead consume the rids for Imperial favors. You can trade in your Imperial favors at the merchant Myung-Hee in Seitung province here. You unlock her by giving her each of 4 different statuettes, which you get from the weekly completion of the meta events in End of Dragons. She will then be available as a vendor for the rest of the week. From her, you can purchase Berserker sets of exotic gear for 50 Imperial favors and 100 resource nodes each. These can be sold on the trading post for 3 to 4 gold a piece. To get research nodes, you can get away with paying just about a silver per note. I usually write Potent Potion of into the trading post and buy order the least expensive ones and then use research kits on those. Research kits can be bought from any profession vendor. You can find out which pieces sell for the most on the trading post on the fast farming website or do a quick search through of the market before you buy. Getting a Scavenger protocol magic trophies on your Jade bot is extremely valuable as well. In meta events, tagging monsters for random loot drops adds a lot of bonus gold to your experience, and with a Scavenger protocol equipped, you will get a loot bag about each minute, which contains trophies worth on average 2.5 silver. Granted, the bot costs 9 gold and 40 silver, but in just over 6 hours of active play, 375 kills that drop the bag, you have paid back the trinket and it will passively make you about a gold and 50 silver per hour of active play forever. In fact, I'll mail the one I purchased to showcase here to someone who comments their character's name down below. I won't be needing it after all. I'll pick out a name when this event ends in 13 days. Lastly, you will get a bunch of karma passively throughout the event, which can be converted into a decent chunk of gold. I already released a video on that, however, which you can simply click on here to go watch next. See you over there.